Sir, we can give admin, sir. Ashok, sir.
Yeah, you can give admit. Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
whoever contacts you, if they are not able to join me, you tell them today's webinar is full, so we will share the recordings like that.
Okay. Okay. Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Somebody messaging you means you people can tell.
ఒకటి 5 ఎంత పోయిందిలే.
Right.
అరే
Off your camera.
Guys, everyone fill your details, your name, email ID, and your phone number in chat box.
Can we start or do we wait for another 2 more minutes?
We will wait for 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
Teju, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can we start? I think many people are joining now.
Yeah, sir. We'll start.
Yeah, Teju, you can start, ma.
No, sir. I'm Mansa. Mansa doing.
Yeah, Manasa, you can start.
Yeah. Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Ansa from CMTI team, welcoming you to this webinar on artificial intelligence in construction by Mr. Sachin Amarnath sir. So, about our speaker, Mr. Sachin Amarnath sir has 10 years of experience in the construction industry and works across multiple verticals: corporate L&D consulting, real estate, and digital content driving holistic development of construction professionals. And regularly he conducts interactive training sessions. Example, overview of BIM and AI in construction. And about CMTI, we are pleased to share you about our courses. So we offer civil and non-civil students such as CACM, IDM, BIM, and QS. And three modes are available: offline, online, and hybrid, plus 100% placement we are sure. So thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Manasa, for
Thank you, sir.
introducing Mr. Sachin.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
thank you. So, I welcome all the participants who are joined from across India and many places. And we have our trainers, senior trainers are joined. Welcome Vijay Gupta sir, and many professors has joined, and many working professionals also joined. This is an interesting subject. So, Mr. Amarnath is good on this subject. Since that is the reason I invited him for this program. Thank you, Amarnath, for accepting my request. And you are going to share your wonderful knowledge to our participants. Of course, this field is emerging like anything. A lot of large companies are already started adapting this technology, and they are increasing their productivity at their work also. So CMT is every week we are conducting Saturday webinars on various topics. This week we have taken up artificial intelligence in construction. So I request all the participants stay muted and you can use the chat box. Of course, at the end of the program, we'll be providing the certificate and we'll provide the opportunity to interact with the speaker also for your queries. So have an wonderful learning experience through this platform. Uh, Sachin,
Thank
thank
you.
you for joining here and you can take forward now.
Thank you, Ashok sir. Thank you, Deepashri madam, and the entire CMTI team for inviting me for this webinar. So, first of all, since Ashok sir called me sometime last week and asked me to speak on this webinar, I've been very excited. The reason being, this is one of the most in demand topics, in the construction industry, but also one of the most misunderstood topics in the construction industry. So what exactly is artificial intelligence? Why is it important? What are the basics of AI tools, and what are the AI tools that we should be really looking forward to? And also I'll give you a couple of case studies of how in some of the biggest projects across the globe, artificial intelligence tools are being used to increase the productivity, right? So without any more delay, let me quickly start. But before I start, I just want to understand what kind of people are attending. I know for a fact that a lot of industry leaders are attending this session. A lot of senior professors from the academic field are also attending this particular session. So I'm very excited. A lot of student friends are also attending, which is great. So first of all, I want to understand from all of you very quickly in the chat box. I want you to uh, type, if you're a student, please type a student. If you are working in the industry, I want you to type the role that you're working in. And if you're someone who is in the academics, you can mention academics. So I just want to understand what is the mix of audience today who are attending, so that based on that, I will be able to sort of customize my content, and I'll be able to give you that kind of information, what is more relevant. Okay, so we have a lot of students. We have a lot of people from academics as well. Okay, okay, that's good. That's good. So I'm going to keep it fairly fundamental so that you understand the whole idea of what is artificial intelligence. Now, before I start, I'll quickly go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so there are a lot of students. There are few people who are in the academic field. Okay, and there are a lot of people from the industry. Okay, got it. So what I will do is I will quickly go ahead and share the screen, and I'm going to tell you something which which is very essential for me to clear out at this very stage in the webinar. a lot of people tend to think, especially in the last 3-4 years since ChatGPT has come, a lot of people tend to think that AI tools is equal to ChatGPT or Gemini or tools like Claude, but it is far from it. All these tools is just one of the ways, one of the use cases of artificial intelligence. So all these use cases are called one specific methodology, which is called generative AI, or these are backed by LLMs, large language model. Now there are a lot of other AI tools in the market. They've been around even before ChatGPT came. So my session in the next 45 minutes is going to give you a fundamental overview of what are these tools, what problem is it actually solving. So it's very important for us to get carried away and say AI tools, okay, it is everywhere. Will it take away my job? Should I even be working? How far are we from this situation where, if I go to a computer and say, hey, ChatGPT, please finish this building, can it actually go and construct the building by itself? So these are all some of the questions. Can it replace me as a civil engineer? These are some of the questions I almost always get when I go and teach at all these companies that you see on the screen, right? So in one of the companies, I had one participant who came and asked me, sir, can you tell me 5 years later, do you think AI can affect my job? And my answer was yes and no, because there are some job profiles, especially in civil and construction industry, where AI could potentially take away some of these job profiles, but then about 95% of job profiles in construction industry are safe, right? At least for the next 30 to 40 years, we will not have AI tools replacing human beings, at least in our industry. I'm sure you've heard of all these Amazon and all these software companies where people are losing their jobs because of AI tools, and it's a real thing. But for our industry, it is something which which is far from the actual fact. So we're going to explore how AI tools are helping our industry and what problems are they already solving. Now, you will see these 4 blocks throughout my presentation, more or less: time, cost, safety, and productivity. And artificial intelligence tools is making our construction site, our construction project smarter. And I'll show you how. I also have a couple of demos, videos, which you may or may not have seen. Most likely you may not have seen, but I will give you why these demos are so important and what are the tools that you should be actually looking forward to, right? So let's quickly address what are the challenges that we are facing in this industry. Most importantly, our projects are not successful. In fact, if you look at any of the data in the last 20 years, it will only tell you that about 6 to 7 out of 10 projects are failing. What do I mean by failure? It doesn't always mean that projects, buildings, bridges are falling down. It's not just that. So when I say project failure, either we are not able to complete the project within time, within cost, or within quality, or a factor of these 3 things, right? And that's famously called the project management triangle. So if you look at any of these statistics, right, so the projects are failing. 6 in 7 projects are finishing late. The average delay is 43% beyond the planned duration date. 1 in 10 projects overrun by more than 1 year. You can look at some of these statistics. 5.42 lakh crore is the central infrastructure projects in cost overruns, right? So a lot of these issues are already there in construction industry, right? The average delay is 43%, overruns is 1 in 10. And you look at some of these, only 14% of the projects were completed early, right? So these are some of the problems that exist. So what problems can AI actually solve? And what are the reasons? What is the enemy? Why are our projects failing, right? So the first thing is, you'll have to understand that there are a lot of biases, which exist with humans, which is affecting some of these issues, right? And which are making this project, all our construction projects, they're making them high-risk projects. So what are these kind of biases which exist in the industry? First is optimism bias, right? So whenever we are planning the project, we always expect for the best case scenario and we plan for the best case. We don't really account into scenarios which are practical in nature. For example, if you go to Delhi or Gurgaon, you will not have construction for at least 45 to 60 days in a year because of restrictions imposed by the local state government because of the pollution levels, right? Now, these are practical on-ground challenges. So 60 days in a year, you will have indirect costs in the project, which you can't control. You will have to keep on paying the salaries for 60 days, but on the site, the construction is zero. The progress is zero, right? So these are some of the challenges that we face in Indian construction industry. So optimism bias is the first reason. The second one is availability, right? And especially with respect to labor availability, you go and check any of the large construction projects. I have had the opportunity to go and teach at some of the biggest, largest companies like L&T, Tata Projects, Godrej Properties, ELF Properties, Prestige, and all of them have one single problem: lack of availability of labor. So we just assume that laborers, good quality laborers, are available who are very productive, which is also causing a problem. And the third thing is the salience bias, right? So we tend to focus on things that are more visible, and we tend to ignore problems that are not really visible. So these are some of the reasons why our projects are being planned imperfectly, right? Our planning itself, we are failing. That is one of the reasons why our projects are failing. Now, how can AI help with respect to planning, especially, right? So that's something that we are going to focus on majorly in today's webinar. Of course, this is a very, very short duration for me to cover anything meaningful in AI. This is just for you to have an understanding of what is the advancement or the practice that is being done across the globe with respect to planning, as a function. So if you look at any construction project, there are 5 different phases. The first one is, obviously the project initiation, then you have project planning, then you have project execution, then you have project monitoring and control, and finally project closeout, right? Across these 5 phases, the second stage of the project, which is the project planning, becomes critical. In fact, even if the amount of money spent on planning and as a function is less than 2%, planning and design is maybe less than 5% of the project, the result, that the impact that this 5% has actually, it can drastically make the project successful or failure. So how can AI help? So first of all, what is AI? What is artificial intelligence? It's very, very important for you to know that AI is not magic. It's just pattern recognition. So what researchers across the globe, machine learning researchers across the globe are doing is they are trying to predict patterns, right? It's all messed up. Like you see in that image, nothing is readable. There are so many data points. First of all, capturing the right data in our industry is a big challenge. And even after that, the way we are storing the data, the way we are processing the data, the methods that we are using to process the data has a very big impact on the outcome of AI results. So if you look at some of these, patterns, some of them are really outdated and some of them are being used across the world. So what is this artificial intelligence? It's nothing but pattern recognition. You're able to look at a few 100,000 data points and you're able to understand what is the pattern of mistakes. If I am making a mistake on the site, so let's say there is something called NCR, non-conformity report, right? So that is something where if you go to the site and something is wrong, something is off with respect to quality, right? There is, let's say, honeycombing. So what you typically go is you check, you see something is not right and you raise an NCR. And when you have 100,000 NCRs across the construction industry in India of all the projects, you will be able to then get data, extract information as to what are the reason why honeycombing happens across India. Now, you might then look at it into 3 different buckets. The first bucket is probably lack of workmanship, right? Workmanship is an issue. Second thing, maybe improper material. Third thing might be improper process. So how many mistakes are happening within these 3 buckets? You try to measure, right? So that entire process is called data collection and analysis, where you're trying to collect raw data. So artificial intelligence is when this entire system, this enables machines to perform tasks which are human-like. What humans do, machines are trying to do the same thing, right? So that humans can do more important things and in more efficient manner, right? So what is the core mechanism? It's very simple: collection of data, processing the data, and identifying patterns of what is the basis of mistake, and then generate an output saying, okay, 55% of the reasons why honeycombing happens across the country is because of lack of workmanship. So when you have that information, when you're planning for the next project, you can then see what is it that I can improve on my workmanship. So using this entire background, artificial intelligence and output, you are then able to make better decisions, saying I have trained my laborers, my workers, or people who are handling my concreting. They have to be trained in a way where best workmanship practices they are trained on, so that they can then go ahead and reduce that number of non-conformity reports, right? So this is just a small example I just made up on my mind to help you understand what AI should really be used for, right? So AI by its own does not have any intent. It does not have any emotion. It doesn't matter if your project is successful or a failure for the artificial intelligence tool, right? It is just a machine which can perform a task, any task. Now you can use it for good, you can use it for bad. It is totally up to the user how you want to use it. And most importantly, the output of AI tool totally depends on what kind of quality of data that you given, right? It uses a garbage in, garbage out policy, right? If you if you feed the garbage data into an AI tool, it will give you output which is irrelevant, which is garbage. So it's very important that you maintain some standards with respect to data collection. So let me just give you a quick overview of what are the categories. What are the categories in which AI is being used in the construction industry? First one is something called predictive analytics. So what is predictive analytics? Based on some previous history, right? So based on the data, or let's say I'll give you an example of rainfall, right? Now, in India, in some of these places, at least in some of the geographies in India, it could rain for as long as 3 to 4 months in a year, right? So at that point, construction becomes impossible, right? But is there a way where I can intelligently study the patterns of when the rain has occurred? And can I just link that with my Google weather data and get my AI tool to predict that on the 31st of January, which is today, is there a possibility of rain happening, right? And if there's a possibility, can I then postpone my very important activity of concreting, which will get affected by rain? Can I postpone that to tomorrow and instead do something else today? This is a classic example of how predictive analytics can be used in the construction industry, where you're trying to forecast delays, you're trying to forecast the risks and the costs of any particular project, right? So this can be used in delay prediction, safety risk, and all these activities. The second one is very, very important. It's called computer vision. Now, again, what I'm trying to tell you is different forms of how AI tools are used across the world. Now, what you probably expected coming into this webinar is only the fourth part with this generative AI, right? And that's one of the most important things that we should be careful of. Generative AI is a very small part of artificial intelligence in construction. It's just one of the things. Now, there are multiple other things which I'm trying to explain, right? The second one is computer vision. What is computer vision? Now, using a camera, can I capture images or videos which can basically collect data, because computers are intelligent, machines are learning now. So will I be able to capture the data and train the model in a way where it can automatically look for errors, it can look for mistakes? For example, if somebody is not wearing a helmet, can I give enough data of 100,000 people wearing helmets and 100,000 people who are not wearing helmets, and can I tell the model that if you see something like this, then you give a tick box, and if someone is not wearing a helmet, you have to cross it, and you have to immediately send a WhatsApp message with the image saying that this person is not wearing a helmet. So this is a very simple example or a use case of computer vision. Now, this can be used for safety, this can be used to identify quality, this can be used to identify progress, like how much work has happened on the site versus what should have actually happened. So all these applications and use cases can be done. There are a lot of brilliant companies across the world where computer vision is being used for construction safety, progress monitoring, and also quality monitoring. The third example is NLP and document intelligence. What is NLP? NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, right? So this is also a form of artificial intelligence where you're looking at different kinds of different kinds of data, and then you're trying to create different buckets, right? And based on that, you're trying to arrive at patterns. This is a different form of machine learning. So NLP and document intelligence. So, for example, if I upload a contract which has, let's say, 30,000 pages, or let's say it has 30,000 words, and can I basically train my model to identify the most critical risks that can come out of contracts through document intelligence? Now, is there a way where I can speed up the request for information process? So, for example, what is request for information in a construction project? Let us say that the architectural consultant who is working on a real estate project has some information that is needed, right? Now, the moment the architectural consultant raises an RFI saying, you know what, I don't really know what is the acceptable delay of the submission of drawing, right? I want to know what is the acceptable delay. This is the nature of the doubt. So at this point, the design team of the developer may not really know how many days is the accepted delay. So the design team will have to then call the contracts person, right? The contracts person, there will be hundreds of projects going on. He will have to then take that particular contract, and in some 300 pages contract document, he will have to find which is that one line which states how many days can the design be delayed by an architect, right? Which is buried somewhere in the contract document. Now, this is a very tedious task. Now, what if there are 100 RFIs at the same time for a large developer? It becomes very, very difficult. So what we can do is, using document intelligence, we can feed the AI tool with the entire contract document, and you can simply chat, hey, here is a request from my design team, the external consultant, saying how many days can I delay this particular submission. So it will basically look and reference and check for that particular information which is needed out of 300 pages, and it can extract that data and it can give you, right, as a text saying, in this particular project, according to the contract side, based on page number 49, paragraph number 3, line number 4, you can delay this submission by 7 days, right? So this kind of speed of information or access to information can save lots of man hours in the construction industry, which can increase the productivity, which is why we started using AI tools, correct? Productivity is work done by time taken. Yes. So if I'm able to do more work in the same amount of time, or if something is taking 4 hours for me to find that particular clause, but this AI tool is giving the same information in 30 minutes or lesser, or let's say 3 minutes or lesser, if 30 seconds or lesser, then I am substantially saving a lot of time. I can do other tasks in the same time. So that is the real world application of NLP and document intelligence. Then you have generative AI, which is very famous, where you can chat with some of these AI tools like Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT. There are so many other AI tools which are available in the market, right? Then you have the next one is robotics or autonomy. So what is robotics? These are systems which are paired with hardware and software, both. The other 4 systems, it's only about software, right, inside of the computer. But robotics is where you are also trying to pair this intelligence, and you're giving the physics of a body, right? It could be in the form of a vehicle. It could be in the form of a very simple line following robot, right? You just draw black color lines throughout your construction project site. This robot will simply follow that black line, and it will capture images at defined destinations, right? During concreting, let's say during shuttering, let's say during bar bending. So what this can do is basically travel throughout the site. Drone is a great example, right? You can basically fly using a drone, and it is also capturing data, which is your software, right? So a lot of these examples, these are the 5 biggest use cases in construction industry today, right? Again, let me underline and tell you, generative AI is only one of the use cases in AI, not everything, right? So let's quickly move. AI, right? Artificial intelligence elevates humans, but it will not replace them. Very, very important for you to understand, especially in our industry. Will I lose a job? Will AI replace? Will AI take away my job? As of today, absolutely not. AI will only make you better. But another human being who has learned AI has a very good potential of taking away your job. So it's always been humans replacing other human beings. And that's how the corporate world today works, right? So people who are skilled at all these technological tools, who can take better decisions based on better data, better information, will obviously be more productive, and they will basically replace you if you don't know these technologies, right? So it's very, very important for you to understand and be ready, right? So it doesn't matter if you are if you're in the academics, if you're a student, it doesn't matter if you have 20, 30 years of experience in the industry, right? Trust me, I go and train some of the senior leadership programs. I also go and train mid-level managers, people with 10, 15 experience. It's very important for you to understand that if you do not keep yourself uh, updated with new technology tools, there is always a risk in today's job market. It's always a risk. So what I would recommend is, whenever you have time, please invest in yourself in upskilling, right? Don't look at it as a spending of money. It's very, very important that you understand there are so many institutes, like CMTI, and CMTI is obviously leading in this entire journey. So it's very, very important for you to, spend some money, invest in yourself, and make yourself, make yourself industry ready. It's very, very important in today's world, right? Today's time and world, because the colleges, what they're doing is they are teaching what are fundamentals, what they're basic, right? Because a college degree is only 4 years. If you take an architecture degree, it is 5 years, right? So they can only give you fundamentals and basics, but it's on you to improve. It's on you to learn more things and upskill yourself whenever you find time. It's very, very important. So let me quickly show you how AI can integrate across the life cycle, right? From the concept design, where you can create something called generative design just by prompting to an AI tool. Today we have reached a stage where I can comfortably tell you, it may not have been true in the last, let's say, 1 year ago or 2 years ago, but today, as of January 31st, 2026, I can comfortably tell you that there are tools in the market where you can simply go, hey, chat GPT or whatever, and then type, can you generate a 2D floor plan of 1,200 square feet? I want a G+3 villa with these many people who are staying, and it will comfortably give you an entire floor plan according to Indian Vastu. So to a large extent, it can make you 3 times, 4 times, 5 times more productive than what you were 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or 10 years ago, right? So generative design is a very, very real world use case, especially in, let's say tier 2, tier 3 cities, where, getting these designs is very expensive, right? So if you go to, let's say, smaller villages, or, you go to smaller places, getting these designs done is very, very difficult. So AI will make it very, very easy. Clash detection is another big challenge. There are so many different departments in the construction industry. So core and shell works, MEP works, landscaping. So different departments, sometimes, always there is a problem of clashes, right, on the site, where your beam is, there is a beam, there's a column, and because of some design error, there is a MEP shaft, or there is an MEP HVAC vent which is passing right into the beam. That cannot happen, right? So clash detection is where automatically, based on the design, it can detect at what stages of the entire project are there clashes that are possible. So AI can help you there. Then you have pre-construction stage, predictive cost estimation, risk estimation. What if I have these many days of labor strike in between? Can you plan an alternative schedule? So these are things which are already there. I'll be happy to show you a couple of examples. Then you have the execution stage, where you can do progress tracking, safety monitoring, quality monitoring, etc. And then you have the closeout stage where you can do predictive maintenance, even of facilities management. So asset management is one of the largest high paying jobs for civil engineers, architects in today's industry, right? If you're able to efficiently manage operations, right, you can keep the costs low. That's one of the most profitable industries in India today, asset management. So that is where predictive maintenance can certainly help, right? So I'm really not going to focus too much on these kind of theoretical numbers, but then this is just to help you that data is already out, right? People have been, so for example, if you look at some of these companies, so some of the top companies, 10 to 20% reduction in project duration if you use AI tools, 10 to 15% cost saving can be done, 30 to 35% of reduction in incidents can happen by using AI, 20 to 30% of defects can be reduced by using AI, productivity can be increased anywhere between 10 to 30%, using AI assisted design. So some of these top industry leaders have come up with this, various research data, and the early numbers are very, very promising. And we are just getting started in the entire revolution of artificial intelligence, right? We're just getting started. So it's very important for us to contribute and track the progress of and be in touch with what is happening across the industry. So generative design, is a great use case, is a great example of artificial intelligence. At this stage, let me quickly give you one example of how generative design is actually transforming this construction industry. So let me just quickly go ahead and show a post, right? This is of course, a post that I've saved. Now, you can see what's happening here, right? Of course, this is not like Indian data, but I want you to carefully notice what's happening, right? So they're able to use this tool using Google Maps. They're able to train the AI model and they're able to pinpoint a location. And they're saying, this is my plan. Can you create a render how my project might look in the same location? Same location. Earlier days, architects, what they used to do is they used to basically create renders and put some mountains and some hilly areas. But now it is possible where you can literally go to the map, place the same exact location, and you can literally watch the same street that you're living in. And, you will be able to see how you're in the real world. So this is a great little example of how far we have come in terms of generative design. Right? I'll play this again so that those who have missed it can see this. So this tool will basically analyze what kind of properties are there and the neighbors, and it will basically generate the same plan and it will place in that particular project, right? How amazing is this? So this is a small example of generative AI in construction. Now I'll give you another very interesting example again. This is also a great example of generative design, where a very popular tool called Claude is integrated into into Revit, right? So the right side you see is the Revit file, and just by prompting, saying, "Can you please create elevation views?" the user is able to create options for elevation, right? So you can see on the right side, these are the views. Now the user is saying, change the visual style and make it realistic. So based on that, you can see the color also is now very realistic, the colors which are there, right? All this used to take a lot of time. At least, for you to convert a 3D into an elevation, it would easily take 4 to 5 hours before. I'm just talking about 5-6 years ago, right? Just before generative design came into picture. But now, it's very, very advanced. It can do in less than 30 seconds. Create elevations for all rooms in my view and add to a sheet. Basically, was the prompt. And you can see the elevations are created automatically. So what it does is basically it eliminates a lot of manual work, where a lot of designers were needed, their time was being committed, which would obviously reduce the profitability of any project. But now the same designer will be able to generate all of this in less than 30 seconds, less than 2 minutes, right? This is just one small example of how generative design is impacting the construction industry, right? Again, this is also one more example of generative design. Now, basically, this prompt is slightly more complex, where the user wants to do a bunch of things. So this is called running AI agents, where multiple functions, multiple outputs are expected. So you, in the last two examples, what you saw, there was only one output. It had one task to perform. Here you see that there are 6 tasks that the AI tool is expected to perform. So, and then some of these tasks are in such a way that by performing step 1, only then you can perform step 2 or step 3. Right? So these are called agentic AI or agents, where you are basically expecting one part of AI to perform one task. Then the second part of that AI is using the output of the first part, and then it is being able to process that data and use it for something else. So where bunch of tasks are happening at the same time. So this is called agentic AI, and this is a great example. Again, the AI tool Claude is being used, which is integrated with Revit. On the right hand side, you see the entire plan of this particular property, and it is basically doing ranking and analysis, and it's basically doing a bunch of things. And it is also showing what are the things to be fixed in your project, right? If there are mistakes in the project, these AI agents will find the mistake, will compare it with a certain kind of data, and it will give you output as to what are these mistakes and how can we fix this, right? Now let me quickly go ahead and show you 2 or 3 other examples of how other forms of AI are taking over. Right now, just before that, let me quickly run through these slides because they're very, very important. At least for your understanding. So we saw a great example of generative design. Now let me just show you how scheduling and forecasting can be done using AI, and how computer vision was also a great application where most companies are already adopting. Like some of the global leaders, especially in Europe, they are adopting computer vision, progress monitoring, quality defects, safety related issues. Sometimes procurement also, they're using AI. So let me just show you a couple of examples. Just before that, this slide is very important. How every stakeholder, different kinds of stakeholders, the owners, the developers, the PMC, the project management consultants, the EPC contractor or the general contractor or subcontractor or designers or suppliers, every single type of company is able to leverage AI for higher productivity. That's the very, very important outcome. So for example, Microsoft and this organization called BuiltWords recently published a report in 2025 saying what is the use of AI tools for different stakeholders, right? So, for example, PMC can leverage predictive modeling, predictive analysis. It can help detect schedule delays or cost delays, right? Cost overruns. It can help in flagging early warnings, right? Or it can help in faster decision making. So, for every different company, every different kind of company, there is a different outcome of artificial intelligence. So, let me just quickly show you a great AI tool which is in the construction industry, called Alice Technologies, right? So it is a US based company. Obviously in India, they're still not started their presence because they're majorly targeting US and Europe now. But this is a great example of how planning and scheduling can be done using AI, right? Now you can see what just happened is they just dropped the image, the 2D image, and the Primavera schedule, right? You could see that they were able to visualize different steps of a work breakdown structure. Now this is called Alice plan. Now I'm going to pause and explain a little bit. Now you see it says upload project data. So what happened here is the user basically uploaded the Primavera P6 schedule. You can also upload as a PDF or your MS project file or MS, or Oracle Primavera file, right? Once you have uploaded, you can also upload the PNG of your floor plan, right? And after that, what's happening is it automatically is able to read and it is able to visualize the schedule, right? Now it says visualize by work breakdown structure. There are multiple steps in a work breakdown structure. So you can pick and choose which part of the work breakdown structure, and you can basically overlay these activities on each other, right? So that the visualization is easier. Then the next step of the same project is you can see you can also optimize, right? Now the schedule is planned in such a way with a certain kind of resource constraints. Now the user is saying, what if we add another concrete pump, right? Now I'm just not using one concrete pump, I'm using two concrete pumps. If I use two concrete pumps, how many days can I actually reduce the schedule? By how many days can I fast track the entire project? And you can see right after this is done, the equipment, you can see the user just used two instead of one, and you can see it is basically working, and it was able to create 7 different options. The one in green color, if I go back, these are the options. You see the 7 different colors, these are the options, wherein the other dots, like the ones in the red or in the purple, they are with one concrete pump. But here what we did, by adding one more concrete pump, they were right. So that is one great example of how AI tools are being used, right?
Sachin, I will take a minute once you are available.
Yes, please carry on. Please carry on.
Yeah, it's a very interesting webinar, and our session is houseful. Regularly, our sessions are happening every Saturday on different topics. Every time it becomes houseful.
Okay.
So I request audience be patient, and you can ask as many as questions at the chat box. Meanwhile, I will share my details also regularly. Many times what happens, the right audience, they may not be able to join in right time. So there are many requests also coming for me. Can you share the link? I want everyone to get registered so that accordingly we can use the platforms also to help you, and we can share by emails also. So this is our channel. If you are, I hope my screen is visible, Sachin.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. So I am sharing our social media channels also. Here we are regularly posting. Now certain people are texting me and asking for the link and all. If you are registered early, it will be very much useful. So this is a WhatsApp channel where we post about jobs, internships, webinars, events, construction news, knowledge updates, all these things we are posting. So if you are in WhatsApp, definitely you can scan this link and join the channel also. It is very much useful. Construction updates regularly our team is giving, and knowledge updates also, events and many things we are posting. I request all the audience, you can scan this and you can join the channel. And we are available in Instagram also. Regularly we are posting the things in social media channels like Instagram, and as well as in LinkedIn also. We have very strong community, nearly 144 now strong. Means 1,43,000 people are following our LinkedIn page. Regularly we are posting our updates on webinars, seminar, daily MCQs, construction news channel, job updates. If you are there in LinkedIn, you can follow this page also. And this is the page where you can see many people are following this, and they are getting and we have detailed trainings also on various subjects, online, offline, and corporate trainings we do across, as Sachin told earlier, India's top 10 companies. On that 8 companies we are associated with them. Regularly our trainings are happening across India, not only restricted to Bangalore. It is happening in Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi, and many places we are doing. And upon the completion of the webinar, you will get a certificate. For that, you have to register yourself. Last week, we had Mr. Manoj. He has spoke about real estate. This week, Sachin. Like this, many experts are coming. And these kind of certifications will add value to your profile, and it will help you for job prospects also. If you are a student, definitely how many certificates you are earning, and you can add to your credentials in LinkedIn as well as in your resume also. And if you want to know more about the programs, you can contact our counselors. Many programs we are keep on doing. This is our app. It is available in the Play Store. So all the recordings will be available in the app also. You can download the app from CMTI, from Play Store, CMTI Civil Engineering Connect. And as we are entering into 8th anniversary, we are given 5 courses free in our app. If you downloaded the app, this will be accessible. Many courses, many webinars, whichever we have completed earlier, that is posted there. You can go. If you are unable to join live programs, you can join as a web. You can download the web app, and you can complete and you can earn the certificate. So these are the options available. Many students were asking, sir, I could not able to join the webinar and all. So you can use these options. And CMT is partner for L&T, Tata, Godrej, DLF, so whatever the screen I have shown. So in every company, we are doing the trainings in the corporates, as well as we are associated with 100 plus engineering colleges. We are in board of syllabus in many colleges, and we are helping the students also to get into construction and upskilling them for next level roles. So if you need more details, you can contact our team. And over to Sachin. Thank you for allowing me to speak now, because I am getting a lot of text from the
Yes.
students. They could be able to join. So if you are registered on time, definitely we can provide a proper platform to you. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I see that Vijay Gupta sir is also there. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for joining. So just last few minutes, I will wind up the entire session. My intent of this workshop was to just give Parimal sir is also there. Good evening, sir. So
Parimal sir, good evening, sir.
So these are all many of the senior trainers and colleagues of CMTI Construction Management Training Institute, where they are basically driving this industry forward in terms of training some of the best engineers across the best companies. So yes, so what I will do is a couple of examples I will show of how AI tools are being used. Somebody was saying Alice Technologies only will help larger $100 million companies, Ritesh, I think. So there are other tools as well. It's just that the interface, the kind of data access that they have, it is superior, and therefore those tools are widely regarded. There are no good tools in India as of now with large data bank, right? So a lot of Indian companies are making it in-house because they don't want to share this data with other companies, which is a big challenge in any AI tool, right? So unfortunately, I have bad news for you, Ritesh. There are no cheap AI tools as of today which are reliable, right? And the only reason is everybody is trying to protect their interest, right? So all companies, in fact, some of the largest companies like L&T, they are building their in-house AI capability, and they don't want to share it with other people, right? Because ultimately it's a business differentiator. So that being said, a lot of private companies are also in creating tools which are similar to Alice Technologies. So the hope and intent is maybe people who are aware like you and me, we can actually contribute to this industry and create companies like this, right? So India is surely looking forward to people like you and me who are aware about these technologies, where we should be able to. So let me show you one case study of how this tool called Alice Technologies again is able to chart out multiple scenarios, right? Multiple scenarios for those who don't know, right? Those who don't know what is the extent of AI tools which is being used currently in the industry. Some of these companies are able to create scenarios. So for example, in the left hand side, if you see initial energization 2 weeks earlier. So there is a scenario in this particular project where one activity is being done 2 weeks earlier. So if this happens, then you can see the overall project, the overall duration is 506 to 509 calendar days, and the overall budget is $7.8 million. Now the second one is building watertight 2 weeks earlier. So if you build this particular facility, if this is the scenario, then what will be the impact on schedule? So if you take this, which is green color, then you will see 6 years. So the overall duration reduces to 509 calendar days. But if you take this another option in the same project, then the overall schedule will be 523 days and the overall cost will be $8 million. So why am I explaining all this? Why am I showing? These are all examples of different kinds of what if scenarios, right? So by building these scenarios, you will be able to test what is the optimum time and what is the optimum cost. At a certain stage, if you have time constraints in your project, or at a certain stage, if you have constraints of money, then in those kind of stages, it's very, very difficult for companies to plan for multiple scenarios. So this particular tool will basically help you in planning for those scenarios, right? And here you can see create new scenario. And in here, what is happening is they are able to select some of these options that this tool has built for itself. So for example, achieve target date, right? So here they've clicked targeted acceleration, achieve target date by 9th July 2026. And then it is also showing an option where you can select different kinds of tasks, right? So you're accelerating the overall project by 20%. And based on that, it will replan, it will reschedule the entire project on its own. You don't have to manually change the finish to start to start kind of relationships, right? By doing this, the AI tool will automatically calculate which are the activities that should happen in parallel, which are the activities that should happen one after the other. And based on that, it will also calculate the cost or the money which is needed for the entire project, right? And based on that, it will then calculate and tell you, if you take this route, how many days will it take? If you take an alternative route, it will increase the project cost by $500,000, but then it will save you 1 month of time, right? So depending on whether time is of the essence or money is of the essence, depending on that, project managers will be able to take better, more informed decisions, right? Even construction sequencing can be optimized. Now, one of the biggest challenges in construction industry, especially developers and contractors, are if you select the wrong sequence, right, there will be a lot of issues with respect to rework. Now, this particular AI tool will be able to run multiple scenarios like this. If you see, it will run multiple scenarios based on the overall utilization of the laborers, right? In US, of course, it's called crew. In India, we refer to the term as laborers. Now, depending on what is the total number of capacity of laborers, here in this case, it is 202. And the peak allocation is 108, right? So based on that, there is something called resource smoothing. It's a project management concept where you do resource smoothing and you reallocate the labor force equally throughout the project, right? So if you do that, right, if you do resource smoothing, then how will it actually impact the entire project? So if you see here, which crew resource is the most critical is the question this person is asking based on this particular project data. So it basically analyzed the data and it is telling you that architectural, there are 18 critical tasks, 43 total crews, and 41% utilization is there, right? In mechanical, 64% utilization is there. In electrical, 72% utilization is there, right? And then the person is asking, what are some opportunities to accelerate this project? Now, I want to finish this project sooner, right? So based on that, it automatically do resequencing on its own, and it will come up with the right kind of data, and it will come up with the right kind of schedules where you will be able to finish the projects much before time. So the overall project progress can be faster, right? This is one more example again of the same tool. Of course, in India, we don't have tools as good as this, but people are still working. And then I have one more video to show you where I can show you how BIM or the design process of artificial intelligence, how is it affecting the design process, right? So here you see there are multiple scenarios. Now this is your typical MSP or Primavera schedule, right? It's a Gantt chart. Now what they're able to do is by creating different kind of scenarios and by allocating labors differently, they're able to simulate by how many days can the project be finished faster. And you can see these are all multiple scenarios. right? And they're also, sort of creating different kinds of parallel activities, right? Which is also sometimes called overlapping in a construction project, right? So by doing these kind of overlapping and by studying the what is the actual utilization of the crew, by creating resource histograms, they are able to finish the project much quicker. This is just a very small example of how AI is being used. Now let me quickly show you one more example. I know Ashok sir told me 45 minutes. I'll just take 3 more minutes so that you get an understanding of um, how in the design stage, especially in the design stage, this tool is called SnapTrude, right? SnapTrude is a competitor to Revit, or Nemetschek, or all these other companies which are like global companies. So this is a smart little tool where it is obviously powered by capability of AI. So what it is doing is, you can see it has a 2D model which is obviously converted into 3D, and each of these blocks which are used to create the 3D model, it is coming with its own data, right? So it's saying this is a project of a 4-story class A office building in Detroit, designed for whatever standards, and you see what are the different departments, what is the area in terms of square meter, and what is the net area. And what you have to do is, in scenarios like this, all you have to do is prompt, right? When you prompt well, now this is of course a YouTube video, but the intent of explaining this is to show how these tools are able to take decisions automatically, right? So it is assigning different stories, and it is coming up with different plans of the same layout, right? So same plan but different layouts, right? So it is showing what are the decisions that are possible in this particular project, and each plan you will then be able to create its own elevation and do comparative analysis. Now before, this was very difficult because you needed 3 to 4 different people who are rendering the project, right? You need 3 to 4 different designers who are working on the 3D model. But now creating these different layouts, what is the most optimized layout, has become 10 times more easier, right? And then you'll be able to obviously add different colors. You can even do analysis of how much heat is there on the project, right? You can do different kinds of simulations by just typing, right? So in the design stage, obviously there is there's a lot of progress that has happened, and also in the stage of progress monitoring or computer vision, there are a lot of updates which have happened. This is a very last slide that I want to show, which is how a particular project like LNG Canada, which avoided 150 days of delay just by using AI, right? So what it did was, they did AI-driven risk analysis, right? So they predicted what are the different kinds of risks. And what they did is use something called the 90-10 rule, where they focused on the most important 10% of the risks, and they eliminated 90% of the least important risks. By focusing on 10% of most important, most critical risks, they were able to actually do 30 plus risk assessments, and then they identified the top 5% of activities, and then they took the action of planning for that risk or trying to avoid that risk. Once they did this, right, they were able to actually avoid 150 days of delay in the construction process. Risks related to procurement, these were risks related to sequencing, these were risks related to quality issues. So they were able to just by planning better, right, by scheduling better, they were able to avoid 150 days of delay, which is a big number, and a lot of saving in indirect costs, right? So similarly, there are many such examples where across the globe people are using AI tools, with respect to making their projects more profitable, right? So this entire webinar, the idea or the focus of this webinar is to just show you different possibilities, what are the different companies that are working on it, and maybe to also highlight what are the problems that need to be solved. So I'll just take 1 or 2 questions. Maybe somebody is saying, sir, how can students prepare themselves for this level or AI driven construction jobs? One thing I can tell you, Praveen, for sure, after having spent 10 years in this construction industry, it is always important to have an X factor with you in your career, right? You should always have something which is unique to your resume, your profile, right? So it starts with you attending webinars like this. So well done for that. And then it also starts with you investing in your own self. Forget about buying silver, gold in today's market. It is always better to buy and enroll into courses, programs, and enroll into long-term programs which will give you, higher value, right? Which will give you more knowledge, and that kind of knowledge, you can then use it to leverage for better job opportunities. These kind of programs sometimes will help you in, attending certain kind of interviews which you otherwise don't have an option for, right? So I will certainly say that having the same degree that 10,000 other people who are graduating, having the same thing with you is not a differentiator anymore. Unfortunately, it was true for my grandfather's generation, but for our generation and your generation, things are very, very competitive, right? So it's very important to define and have your own X factor. And that's where I think these kind of upskilling courses will certainly help you in bringing that differentiator. So do as many internships as possible. Keep in touch. Keep in touch with this. So Ritesh is asking, what do you think about tools like Visio or R-Dash? Now, I know the founders of some of these companies, and I can tell you one thing, right? Companies in India or the problems in India are very, very real, right? So I don't see the scope of AI driven development in planning or scheduling to be very, very effective. The reason is our on the ground execution is struggling, right? The problem is with laborers in today's construction market, right? Their productivity is a big challenge. No matter how efficiently you plan and come up with better planning tools, when you go on the site, the problems get all of a sudden real. So currently in India, I would say I don't see the potential of any AI driven tool to come and make a drastic difference, at least for the next 1 decade, right? Personally, next 10 years, I don't see any AI tool becoming successful in India. And the only reason is no matter how much you plan, it is always the execution which is struggling in India today, right? And I can tell you comfortably, after talking to hundreds and hundreds of practitioners who are dealing with real issues, planning is not our problem as of today in India, right? It is true in other countries, let's say in Europe, in UK, their execution standards are very, very good. But in India, the problems are very, very different. So that's something which, I don't see AI tools coming and, making a drastic impact, including tools that you mentioned. None of them can make a drastic impact. Yes, they can improve coordination. They can certainly improve better collaboration across teams. But currently it is, sort of limited to that. Last question I will take, Hariharan sir. After completed degree, what about student level? College level, we are not study AI. So please, in college level, after degree, see again, AI, Hariharan, I don't want to mislead anybody. Don't look for AI related courses as of today. Look for courses that give you practical skills, right? If you're in the initial stage of your career, look for things that will give you practical skills which are there to, which will add real value to your profile. AI will not come to India in the next at least 5-10 years, right? But when it comes, you should be ready. That's what I'm saying, right? So there will be AI related programs, which I'm sure CMTI is planning, and CMTI itself will launch a lot of AI related programs in the future. But when they come, make sure that you enroll and you gain the knowledge. But currently what you need more of a real world practical program which will give you internships, which can send you to companies where you go to site, deal with these problems firsthand. That's the only way where you can grow and improve, right? So that's it, Ashok sir, from my side. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and it's over to you.
Thank you, Sachin, for the wonderful session. I thank all the participants and CMTI trainers also for joining this program. And many colleges, professors also join this program. Definitely, this kind of a programs is a value addition for your profile, and of course, it is going to be the future. And many companies are adapting, started using the digital technology into day-to-day work. So I wish all the young engineers, they will not have much hardship, and everything is being digitalized, and the construction will be easier and faster. And of course, competition will be there because of number of engineering colleges are more, and parallelly the digitalization also is happening everywhere. So on that, you have to be very much cautious and upgrade yourself with the programs and the content. And every week CMT is conducting around in every Saturday 7 p.m. our programs are happening. You can join our programs at free of cost in the evenings in the webinars. And of course, we are conducting sessions in many colleges. You can invite a CMT for the programs also. Recently, we did at G. Pulla Reddy College and SSN Chennai, and many colleges we did, BMSIT. All these colleges we have done. So you can enroll for the programs, and now our team will provide the certificates. You can see the certificate link in the chat box. And thanks, Amarnath, for joining for this program and sharing your knowledge. Of course, Saturday everyone will be in weekend mode. Of course, you spent past 1 hour for enabling the students to get into the digital construction. Of course, thank you, Samir sir, for joining this program from Mumbai. I appreciate your efforts and upskilling yourself. Yeah, yeah, we are helping for the recruitment also. Many companies, nearly these are the companies we are into trainings and as well as into placements. So a lot of companies are there. Only thing is they should have the proper infrastructure and proper softwares with them. Definitely they will onboard you. A lot of companies are working on it, and they are doing in a very streamlined manner. Of course, opportunities will be available. Of course, they are hiring regularly. So CMTSI is of course working with many MNCs, and their capacity building programs we are doing with the support of the experts like Mr. Sachin, Parimal, Samir, and Vijayji, all from different locations. They are coming and they are helping the people with the trainings and all. So with this, we will conclude the session, and I request my team to share the link in the chat box so that our audience will get the certificate in the email. So stay connected with our channels, WhatsApp channel and LinkedIn. Many platforms we are available. You can stay tuned, and they are sharing the information to you regularly. Okay. All the best for everyone. And the next program, we have exciting program on green buildings, and there are many programs aligned, so you can also join these kind of programs. And definitely this will be uploaded in our app also. The recordings will be uploaded. Those who are not joined or missed to join, you can inform them. And the feedback link is given in the chat box, so you can fill up the details, and you can get the certificate in the email. Okay. Happy weekend to everyone. Thank you, Sachin, once again. Thanks for all the trainers and the professors and the students and the working professionals. You are joined from many places. I can see from Tamil Nadu to Kashmir. Many students and many working professionals joined. Of course, online is helping everyone with the knowledge. Thank you once again. So the link is provided in the chat box. Kindly you fill up and you can get the certificates. Thank you. Thank you, Sachin, for joining in, and thank you for all the members who were joined from all over India.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vidya, for organizing, and all the back office staff of CMTI for enabling with the wonderful webinars. Okay, and you can share your contact details also. Those who are interested, they can also connect with you for more programs.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, can we end up the webinar, sir?
Yeah, you can share the registration link. Somebody who has missed, they can fill the details and they get the certificates. Post that you can end. Maybe another 2 minutes you can.
Sure, sir.
You can share your contact details so that if they need any support, they want to conduct some programs in their colleges, they can invite our trainers also. You can share your numbers.
Sure, sir.